It was 1:17 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday when the intercom crackled to life in the middle of sixth period history. The sound was distorted, like the mic was being held too close to someone's mouth. Attention, lockdown. This is not a drill. Teachers, lock all doors. Move students away from windows immediately. The voice wasn't our principal's usual calm tone. It shook, as if whoever was speaking was terrified. Mr. Carter, our teacher, didn't hesitate. He shoved the heavy cabinet in front of the door, killed the lights, and motioned for us to crouch against the back wall. The rain outside seemed to grow louder, pounding the glass like it was trying to get in. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from Mia, my best friend in the science wing. Do you hear it? I frowned, typing back quickly. Hear what? Before she could answer, a sound cut through the silence. A slow, deliberate scraping in the hallway. The scraping sound grew louder, steady, like something heavy was being dragged along the linoleum. Everyone was holding their breath. Then footsteps, slow, measured, too heavy to be a student. We all turned toward the narrow rectangular window in the classroom door. A shadow passed by, tall and impossibly thin. It paused, just out of view, then leaned close enough for us to see the edge of a face, pale, almost gray, with skin that looked stretched too tight. It didn't move for several seconds. Then it tilted its head toward the glass, the motion stiff and unnatural, as if its neck didn't work quite right. No one dared speak. My phone vibrated again in my pocket. It's not a shooter. My heart thudded. I typed, "Then what is it?" Before she replied, a scream tore through the hall. It wasn't long, more like it had been cut short. The dragging sound followed again, slower this time, closer. We all flinched when the intercom crackled again, expecting to hear the principal giving instructions. But the voice that came through wasn't human. It was deep, layered, and wet, like someone gargling water while speaking. Each word seemed to echo from far away and right next to us at the same time. "We see you." A chill swept through the room. Mr. Carter motioned frantically for everyone to stay silent. But Tyler, the kid next to me, whispered, "What the hell was that?" The shadow outside the door froze. I swear I could hear slow breathing, ragged and moist, on the other side. Then came 3 deliberate knocks. Not loud, just enough to let us know it was still there. My phone buzzed again. "MIA, there's more than one." I wanted to ask what she meant, but the sound of something sharp scratching down the glass made me drop my phone. The scratching stopped, replaced by a sound that made my skin crawl. Bare feet slapping against the hallway floor, slow and wet. Then, without warning, the fire alarm erupted. The shrill, pulsing screech filled the room, making a few people cover their ears. Red lights began flashing, casting the classroom in short bursts of color. Through those flickers, I saw more movement outside. Not one shadow now, but several. They didn't walk like normal people. Their heads lolled to the side, arms swinging loosely, knees bending in the wrong direction as they staggered closer. Mr. Carter's eyes were wide. He crouched down, whispering so low I almost didn't hear him. "Do not move. Do not make a sound." One of them slammed into the door. The glass spiderwebbed under the impact. My phone vibrated again. "MIA, they're in the cafeteria. Don't look at their faces." The pounding at the door stopped suddenly, replaced by silence, so heavy it made my ears ring. That's when my phone lit up, not with a text this time, but an airdrop request from someone named Cafeteria Cam. The thumbnail was blurry, but I could make out shapes that looked like students, all standing unnaturally still. Against my better judgment, I accepted. The video was grainy, like it came from an old security camera. Rows of students filled the cafeteria, their heads tilted back, mouths hanging open. In the center stood what looked like a teacher, but their spine bent backward at an impossible angle. From their mouth poured a thick, black liquid, dripping into the gaping mouths of the students one by one. None of them blinked. None of them moved except to drink. Then, as if sensing they were being watched, every single head snapped toward the camera. The video cut to static. Before I could even process what I'd seen in that video, the classroom door handle began to twist slowly. We all froze. The lock held, but whoever or whatever was outside didn't stop. The handle turned again, more forcefully this time, rattling in its socket. Then came a voice. "Come out, you're the only ones left." It wasn't loud, but it was too clear, too deliberate. Worse, it sounded wrong. Layered, like a dozen people were speaking at once, but perfectly in sync. "Mister." Carter shook his head violently, motioning for us to stay back. His hand was trembling. The rattling stopped. The footsteps moved away down the hall. Just as I started to breathe again, something wet dripped onto my shoulder. I looked up. There was a vent above me, and something inside was moving. The grate creaked, dust falling in tiny puffs before it gave way with a sharp clink. A pale, jointed arm slid out, impossibly long, bending in places no human arm should bend. Its fingers curled and uncurled as if tasting the air. Nobody screamed. Not because we were brave, but because the fear strangled the sound in our throats. The arm groped blindly, sweeping across the floor. It brushed over Tyler's shoe. He jerked back, knocking over a desk, and the noise made the thing freeze for half a second before snapping toward him with insect-like speed. Mr. Carter grabbed a chair and slammed it into the vent. The arm recoiled, vanishing back into the darkness above. We barely had a moment to breathe when a thunderous crash echoed from the hallway. Metal tearing, lockers slamming into the floor. The intercom came alive again. "Lockdown over. Please exit in an orderly fashion." But the voice wasn't Principal Hayes. Everyone exchanged nervous glances. Nobody moved except Jason. He muttered, "Screw this," shoved the cabinet away from the door, and twisted the lock before Mr. Carter could stop him. The door swung open, revealing an empty hallway lit by the red flash of the fire alarms. Jason took one step out. Something in the shadows moved faster than my eyes could follow. 1 second he was there, the next he was yanked sideways, so violently his shoes squealed against the tile. His scream cut off instantly. The dragging sound started again, slow and rhythmic, fading into the distance. We were too stunned to speak. The air in the room felt heavy, almost thick, making every breath harder. Then the lights flickered once, twice, and went out entirely. In the pitch black, a whisper came from somewhere inside the room. "We've been waiting for you." The whisper wasn't coming from the hallway. It was inside the room, behind us. I spun around, squinting into the darkness, but there was nothing until I realized I could hear breathing. Slow, steady, just inches from my ear. I bolted toward the door, my footsteps echoing in the silence. Others followed, their movements frantic, desks toppling over as we scrambled out. The hallway was worse. Without the overhead lights, the only illumination came from the red strobe of the fire alarms, each flash revealing more shapes standing perfectly still in doorways. Students, teachers, their faces slack, eyes wide and black. We ran, weaving around them, heading for the front exit. But when we reached it, heavy chains wrapped around the handles rattled in the storm wind. Outside, beyond the glass, figures stood in the rain, smiling far too wide. They didn't move. They just watched. We turned down another hallway, desperate, hearts hammering in our chests. That's when I saw her, Mia, standing alone, soaked, hair plastered to her pale face. Relief and hope surged through me. "Mia, come on, we have to go," I shouted, reaching for her. She stepped back. Her smile stretched unnaturally wide, and her eyes, they were black voids swirling like liquid darkness. "I told you, it's not human." I froze. Behind her, the hallway filled with movement, shadows stretching and bending in ways that made no sense, shapes reaching from the walls, floor, and ceiling. A cold, wet hand shot out from the darkness, grabbing mine. The grip was impossibly strong. I couldn't pull away. Everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the classroom, alone. The cabinet was in front of the door again, the lights dim, and my phone buzzed with one last message. MIA. We're still waiting. The storm outside raged harder, and I realized with horror there was no way out.